The Barclays Women's Championship turned 10 years old in April 2024 and has been home to many fantastic players, such as Fran Kirby, Beth Mead, Millie Bright, Sue Smith, Katie Wilkinson, Jess Sigsworth, Beth Heppel, and the list could go on and on. There has been and is currently so much talent in the second division. In my opinion, the championship does not get the attention or recognition it deserves. So let's talk about it. My name is Scar and today I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about the Barclays Women's Championship. This video will be split up into sections, so first we'll go over the formation of the league and who took part in the inaugural season, then we'll go into the history and the current format of the league, and then lastly we'll dive into what is next and what I think could happen in the future. The second division was introduced in 2014, which saw a further 10 teams compete in a now two-tier league with promotion and relegation. The second division was called the WSL 2 and the top flight was called the WSL 1. 10 teams were part of the inaugural WSL 2 season, and those were Aston Villa, Doncaster Rovers Bells, Durham, London Bees, London City Lionesses, Oxford United, Reading, Sunderland, Watford, and Yeovil Town. Sunderland won the inaugural WSL 2 title, winning promotion to the WSL 1, whilst Everton were relegated from the top flight. In December of 2014, the FAWSL announced a 2-year plan to expand the WSL 1 from 8 teams to 10 teams. This meant that 2 teams would now be promoted from the WSL 2, with only 1 being relegated from the WSL 1. Also, for the first time, a team could earn promotion into the WSL 2 from the FA Women's Premier League, now National League, connecting the top 2 tiers to the rest of the English women's football pyramid. Reading were champions in 2015 and were promoted alongside Doncaster Rovers Bells, who finished second. Bristol Academy were relegated from the WSL 1 and renamed themselves to Bristol City. Sheffield beat Portsmouth 1-0 in the FA Women's Premier League Championship playoff to secure promotion to the WSL 2. Yeovil Town were WSL 2 champions in 2016 and saw promotion alongside Bristol City. Doncaster Rovers Bells were relegated from the WSL 1 and Brighton and Hove Albion gained promotion to the WSL 2 after beating Sporting Club Albion in the FA Women's Premier League Championship playoff. In July of 2016, the FA announced the move from a summer to a winter league to align with the more traditional football calendar. To allow for this move, a shortened FA Spring Series would take place between February and May 2017. Notts County Ladies folded 2 days before the start of the Spring Series and withdrew from the WSL 1. WSL 2 teams were invited to apply to replace the defunct Notts County Ladies, with only Everton and Doncaster Rovers Bells applying. It was decided that Everton, who were the winners of the WSL 2 Spring Series, would take the vacant space. The WSL 2 was actually planning on having 11 teams for the following season, but due to all of this, they would only have 10. Tottenham Hotspur gained promotion to the WSL 2 after beating Blackburn Rovers in the FA Women's Premier League playoff. The 2017-18 season was won by Doncaster Rovers Bells, and it was the first time the WSL 2 ran as a winter league. It was also the last of the 2-tier era. The FA removed promotion and relegation in order to help restructure the leagues. Clubs would have to reapply under new criteria to take part in the 2018-19 season. Following the restructure of the women's game to provide for a fully professional Women's Super League, membership of Tier 1 and Tier 2 was subject to license based on a series of off-the-field criteria. From the second division, Brighton and Hove Albion were offered a place in the WSL 1, whilst Oxford United and Watford did not apply for licenses. This left up to 5 places in the Championship for applying clubs, with one of those 5 places going to the winners of the FA Women's Premier League Championship playoff, subject to licensing. 15 applications were received for both the top 2 tiers, with 5 of them being accepted into the Championship. Those were Manchester United, Lewes, Leicester City, Sheffield United, as well as Premiership playoff winners Charlton Athletic. They replaced the following teams: Doncaster Rovers Bells, Sheffield FC Ladies, Oxford United, and Watford. Doncaster and Sheffield did obtain their 2-tier licence but ended up giving it up, whilst Oxford United and Watford did not apply. Manchester United were champions of the 2018-19 season and gained promotion to the FAWSL alongside Tottenham Hotspur. Millwall Lionesses finished bottom of the Championship but were spared relegation as the FA sought to expand both the top 2 tiers to 12 teams each by the 1920 season. Blackburn Rovers and Coventry United were promoted into the Championship after winning the FA Women's National League North and South respectively. 12 teams were scheduled to take part in the 2019-20 Championship season. Yeovil Town, who were relegated from the WSL, were due to take part in the Championship but were denied a licence in May 2019 and instead granted 3rd tier status. The 2019-20 season was cut short in May due to the pandemic. Aston Villa were crowned champions and gained promotion to the top flight on a points per game average, whilst Liverpool were relegated from the WSL on the same merit. Whilst movement was honoured between the WSL and the Championship, there was no promotional relegation between the Championship and the National League. This was because for tiers 3 and below, it was null and voided and the results were expunged. The 2020-21 championship winners were Leicester City, who gained promotion to the WSL for the first time, whilst Bristol City were relegated from the top flight. London Bees were relegated from the championship into the National League. Upward movement from the National League was granted via application based on a set of criteria including points per game over the previous 2 seasons in order to support the stability and integrity of the women's football pyramid, as the previous 2 National League seasons had been curtailed by the pandemic. As a result, Sunderland were promoted from the National League North and Watford were promoted from the National League South. Liverpool were champions of the 2021-22 season and gained promotion to the top flight, whilst Birmingham City were relegated from the WSL into the Championship. Watford were relegated from the Championship on the final day of the season after Molly Green of Coventry scored a 97th minute free kick equaliser. Southampton, who were the winners of the FA National League South, beat winners of the National League North, Wolverhampton Wanderers, in order to secure their promotion into the Championship. Ahead of the 2022-23 season, the top 2 tiers rebranded and dropped the FA from their league title names. It was also the first year that Barclays became the title sponsor for the Women's Championship, having sponsored the WSL since 2019. Bristol City were crowned champions of the 2022-23 season and gained promotion to the top flight, whilst Reading were relegated from the WSL into the Championship. Coventry United were relegated from the Championship into the National League, and they were replaced by the FA Women's National League playoff winners, Watford. In April 2023, the FA announced they'd be making changes to the Women's Championship by increasing the number of relegation spaces from 1 to 2. This would mean that now both the winners of the National League North and South, subject to licensing, would gain promotion into the Championship instead of having to play a playoff where only one would be promoted into it. Crystal Palace were winners of the 2023-24 season and gained promotion to the top flight for the first time, whilst Bristol City were relegated from the WSL into the Championship. Watford and Lewes were relegated from the Championship and were replaced by National League North winners Newcastle and National League South winners Portsmouth, who both were in the Championship for the first time. In June of 2024, it was announced that Reading would be withdrawing from the Championship and demoted to Tier 5 after encountering financial difficulties. Whilst the owner has put Reading up for sale, without a cash injection, the club said that they could not meet the criteria to compete in the second tier of the women's game. This is a huge loss and is incredibly disappointing. Reading were part of the WSL 2 back when it was founded in 2014, and it was home to a young Fran Kirby who saw great success at the club, including being the first WSL 2 player to ever be called up to the senior England squad. Reading were also part of the top flight from 2015 all the way up to the end of the 2022-23 season when they were relegated. Supporters Trust at Reading criticised the decision by saying, "It affects our community, gender equality and our club's heritage. This move undermines our club's integrity and the progress of women's football." As just mentioned, due to the fact the Championship will only have 11 teams in the 2024-25 season, the format of the league has changed. Therefore, for this segment, I will go over the normal format when there are 12 teams competing in the league. The league consists of 12 teams with each playing 11 home and 11 away matches for a total of 22 games per season. The winners of the league are the team with the most points, and in the instance where points are tied, it's decided on goal difference, then most goals scored, then most matches won, then head-to-head, and if in the instance where they are still tied, playoff matches will take place. First place are champions and subject to licensing are promoted to the WSL. 11th and 12th place are relegated to the FA Women's National League North or South, depending on their geographical location. The winners of the FA Women's National League North and South, subject to licensing, are promoted into the Championship. For the 2024-25 season, the following changes have been made to the league format. Teams will play 10 home and 10 away matches, with one team each match week having a free week with no fixture. The FA announced there will be one relegation space, so the team in 11th place will be relegated to the National League North or South. In terms of what is next for the league, the launch of the Barclays Women's Championship YouTube channel is a great step in the right direction. Hopefully it will increase awareness and accessibility to the league. Additionally, Charlton Athletic and Blackburn Rovers have announced they'll be playing all their home championship games at their main stadiums of the Valley and Ewood Park respectively. They will join championship sides Birmingham City, Bristol City, Sheffield United and Southampton as teams who already play all their home games at their main stadiums. Additionally, St James's Park, the Stadium of Light and Fratton Park will all host local derbies, which is absolutely brilliant. Lastly, Women's Professional Leagues Limited have taken ownership over the WSL and Championship. Whilst it still is obviously in its infancy, it is really exciting to see what changes and developments could be made in the future. CEO Nikki Doucette comments, "The next successful era of the women's professional game will be built on the foundations of collaboration, and we are excited to work together with all stakeholders to drive transformational and sustainable growth across our leagues by leveraging the distinctive qualities, values and principles which exist in the women's game." Women's football in England has witnessed unprecedented growth in recent years, marked by increased fan engagement, rising attendances at matches, and a surge in participation at all levels. We are fiercely committed to building on this momentum by creating a thriving landscape which prioritises the welfare and development of players, fosters and excites a vibrant fan community, and nurtures the sport's growth. As we embark on this exciting journey, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to the FA for its outstanding work in developing the sport. We look forward to building on the solid foundation and elevating women's professional football in England to unprecedented levels. So that about wraps up this video. I hope you learned something new or at least enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button for more women's football content. And with that out of the way, I wish you all an amazing day.